Oh, what's this? Are we live? Welcome to Sunday. Yeah. It is the 21st of December, 2025, and we are only a few days remaining until the New Year's, as one might say. And what does that mean? It means we are on episode 50 of the Write a Book with Me series from concept to completion. And we're having a good time today. That's all I'm saying. We're going to work on some more stuff. We're going to get into it. And ultimately, you know why you're here. And we're going to talk about it. What's up, SB? Yeah. I just saw your response. I will respond to you a little after the show, after I have my lunch and all that. Woo! Much love, much love. Uh, where was I? Oh, Sunday. It's Sunday. Oh, happy Sunday. Yes. Malos, what's up, my? What's up? All right, let's get into it. If you're new, flowers, we got some chickens. You need chickens, you know. Oh, are you feeling better, Thomas? I wish I had suggested we ended the meeting when you had your headache and reconvene the next weekend. I appreciate the love. You know that very much. I am feeling better, but I think I'm still dealing with a little fatigue from it and everything like that. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I gotta enjoy life a little bit. You know, I got this. I got this. I won't push myself though. If I feel like I need to stop, I'll stop. You know, I'm easy. I'm easy. Well, you said the hand was a chicken. Oh, I love you. All right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So, for anyone who's stopping by for the first time ever, a couple things. Let's get you in. This is episode 50 of a series I've been doing in real time on the screen, showing everybody how to write a book, specifically using my process. I'm not saying this is the correct process or the right process. I'm just saying it's my process and one of a million other processes out there. But if you're interested to see how to write a book, or you yourself are currently writing a book and you want to change things up, you get a little inside look into what's going on. Now, over the year, we have done 6 of the 21 steps. So if you go back to the beginning of the series, you'll see us brainstorm with brain dumps. You'll see us work on character arcs. You'll see us do those short form outlines, extended outlines, so forth and so forth. So what are we doing today? What's up, bro? Greetings, Thomas and everyone else. Welcome to episode 50. Dun dun dun. Yeah. So, again, if you're new here and you don't know what's going on today, what we will be doing is we are going to adjust what we found. So that means we're going to take the notes that we had developed in the previous step, and we're going to go through the zero draft chapter outlines and continue to add information. We're flying through it, but I do want to say I'd like to put things into perspective. If I was working on this specific book, it just is in a standard way, all right? Because right now, all I do is once a week on a Sunday for about an hour, I work on the book. But if I had this in my schedule, which is the 1 to 2 hour block, it would be 25 days worth of work. So we'd be this far in 25 days. That's pretty good, you know. It's fairly good if I do say so myself. So to just keep that in perspective, just because we've been doing this for a year and it's episode 50, it's technically it's like day 25 of the first month. You know what I'm saying? So writing, it can fly by when you put it into perspective. If you don't know, we do have a poll today. The poll is, what should every chapter do? And it made it a little interesting today. I only have 3 choices. We have change the situation, test the character, or answer questions, create new ones. So we'll talk about that at the end of the hour. Let's get into it. First things first. All right, I think last time we did this, we got up to chapter 2. I just colored in the letterings so I know that we did it. Meow. What's up, Em? Meow, meow, meow. Should have had all should have had all of the above. I almost put all the above. I almost did. I almost did. But I like to give people a chance to choose one, Like what if you had to really boil it down, what is the top? What is the most important thing? All right. So we are on chapter 3. Let me get these notes here. All right. We're going to just do the color right away. Get it over with. Boop. All right. We're going to go beep. I think I actually put. Look at that. All right. So let's put the notes up here and then we'll slowly fit them in. So I thought it was a trick question too. It might have been. The trick, you know what it is though, is change the situation. Is a little bit different than test the characters. Because changes the situation is that at the end of the chapter, we are moving the plot forward and ultimately we're not focused on the same thing. We are adjusting it. The test the character is more of an internal thing. And then, of course, answer questions, create new ones. It's our perspective as a reader. Like, what are we learning? Agree. A chapter can do multiple things. It can. It can. But what should every chapter do in your heart, do you feel is most important? That's what we're asking. All right. So, again, if you are new here, what am I going to do? I'm taking these notes and I'm going to slip them in to the I'm gonna slip them into the zero draft. Hey Sean, welcome to episode 50. Brought the Gandalf hat with me. That's awesome. Look at that, the default picture. That's fantastic. Ciao bello and beaut. Hey everyone, what's up, Emma? How's it going? Yum 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 yum. Not to give it away, but Emma is eating delicious food and she's not sharing it. I just want to put that out there. All right. Oh, all right. So if you're wondering, let me go over it. I have the zero draft version of the chapters right here, and I'm just going to take the notes that I wrote in the previous step, and I'm going to start slipping them through. Okay. All right. So I'm going to change and adjust some things right here. Oh, we got some stuff. Let's see. Waves, hello to everyone. I feel that each chapter should raise questions, move the plot, challenge in different situations, but that depends on the book and story. And that is fine. It can be all three, but all I'm asking is if you had a chapter, what should every chapter do? Like in your mind, no matter what, like the average chapter, right? If you want to know, I would pick test the character. Every single chapter must test characters no matter what, because that's story. So without story, it's just plot happening, which be change the situation or some answers, right? So I feel personally that every chapter should challenge your characters. But that doesn't mean I don't believe you shouldn't change the situation or answer questions. And I believe those things are true too. But if I had to choose one, I would choose test characters. Hello, Emma. All right. All right. So I put this here, and I think I'm going to change something. I had a heart. I'm on my Christmas vacation this week. Fantastico. Christmas vacation. I am. All right. Had to change that moment. And that's the thing when it comes to writing. Just because we wrote it down doesn't mean we can't change it or adjust the narrative plot. Because remember, at the end of the day, our job is to serve the narrative. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And by the way, if anyone's paying attention for the first time, these are zero drafts, so they're just broad general ideas. I'm not writing prose yet, though I could write dialogue and I could write prose. Occasionally I do. But right now I'm just trying to set the rhythm of the chapter just to get an idea of how I want it to flow. This will help with pacing and a few other things. But most importantly, it's helping me make sure that the plot will be plotting and that everything I need in the narrative will be in the narrative. Where is. Oh, okay. All right. We need to hyperspace. Notes. Again, you see the scroll on the bottom, the little thing. If you have questions about what I'm doing or you have questions about your own stories, remember you can ask. I am a developmental editor and a writing teacher, and it's basically free advice, so feel free to use it. All right. Oh, this I could take out because we've already done that. Gang members. I need to go deeper into the group, their appearance and personalities. I want it to be the group together. Okay, that's important. That's important. All right. Notes. Now, again, what I'll do is when I start writing the actual first draft and all that stuff, that's when I go into really refining the whatchamacallits, the actual prose and stuff like that. But again, I just want to be able to look at what I'm writing and then say to myself, does this make narrative sense? This happens, cause and effect, then this happens, right? But I don't want it to feel like this happens, then this happens, and then this happens. I want to feel like it this is happening, therefore this happens, or but this happens, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for that. And it's easier to see that for me um, when the drafts themselves are just, I could just read like a quick summary of what needs to happen. If I have to read like pretty prose or like deep dialogue with subtext, it's going to take longer for me to figure out what's going on just because that's not important right now. I'm trying to develop the plot. When I'm developing the story, which is the playing of the characters, that's when I really can have a lot of fun with it and I could really like play around. Cool Hannah, kinda early. Will you actually work on Christmas week? Oh, we got some potential names. Oh yeah, yeah. The Fitz. Well, that we keep. Do we have that in the other thing? The High flowers, Emma, Emma, Hannah, Romalo. If you don't know, I have a singing tick. All right. By the way, I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then I was trying to go back to sleep. And this is how my brain works. I First of all, I had a dream that I won the lotto, and then the first thing I did was I put on a charity event for the Team Rise Together nonprofit to raise money. But the way I did it was I brought musicians together, like all bands, and like I closed out the show, but like my band was like members of different like big bands like Dream Theater and all these other things. And I played the whole concert in my head. The bands that started off. So the concert was like 3 hours long. So I was up for 3 hours and I'm watching this concert and listening to it. The songs are going on, and you know, but like I was also like I was the rehearsals I'm dreaming about, and like what are the song order? I'm just saying I'm crazy, but I couldn't sleep, so I am on a little sleep today, but still that was the dream I had. No, but I will work on my story to Christmas Eve. Da 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 da. Wow, great. It was a fantastic dream. I mean, the footage was great. You know what I'm saying? Like the way the cameras were filming and the shots, because we filmed it and everything. Uh, but I would have liked to have some sleep. I bet you woke up shattered. Well, the thing is, I was woke up. I was just laying in bed, and I was just having this like, I guess I was like in a fugue state where I was like, I was up, but I was kind of sleeping, and I was just dreaming about this thing playing out. And yeah, yeah. And then I checked to see if I had won the lotto, and all right. At least I did get the jam, and I was just singing. But we also did covers. So we did like old Altanian songs, and then like in between we did like every two songs we would do a cover. And the first cover was like Phantom of the Opera but heavy metal, and then we did Confrontation, and then we did War Pigs, and then I did Metropolis with Dream Theater. But it was funny because I'm like picturing like how the lights would go out and boom, 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 dom, 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 boo doo doo boom, 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 and then down, and then everybody's singing, generals gathered in their masses, just like witches and black masses. It's just great. This is great. But I would have liked to get some sleep. The neighbors did not complain. They didn't hear anything. It was just in my head. Luckily, they weren't home, though. I probably, to be honest, if I did fall asleep, I probably was singing. All right. Anyway, that's how my brain works. It's a very scary place. Very scary place. All right, what we got here? I think we got one more. Oh, we got two more notes. Make sure to show. Oh, wait, that I don't have to do because I got rid of that. Figure out the distance between the planets and the planet names. All right, so that is actually. I'm going to go back here. Figure out the planet. Boom. There we go. We just did chapter 3. That was exciting. And you might be thinking, Thomas, that was pretty easy. This stuff is easy. This is the easy part, just organizing it and putting stuff in it. I'll be honest though, one of the things I probably would be doing at this point is I probably would be going a little more playful with the writing. Like there are currently still hyperspace movement and blah blah blah. Right? I might start playing around, not necessarily with pretty prose or prose, but I might try to start working out the passages, and then for because sometimes depending on the alpha readers I'm gonna have, some of them have an easier time reading it when it looks like a very general narrative, like when it looks like prose. And then other people, they love that they could just read the movement of it. Um, so it really depends on my mood. I've been on holiday for a while. All right, let's go to 4. Let's go to 4. Let's go to 4. Been 10 years, maybe more since I first laid eyes on you. All right. What is this note? While working on the ship, maybe the love interest discovers the explosives in the bag, and they are not explosives. I think this might have to be in 2. I mean 3. I'm gonna go and put this in 3. All right, there we go. We're just changing a couple of things. All right. So as you can see, I'm just I'll see you later, Emma. Ooh, watch time. I appreciate that. Bye, Emma. Um, as you can see, I just added a new movement that was in chapter 4 as a note idea, and I moved it into chapter 3, and then I placed it in the middle of something. And not only does this help out the chapter where it creates movement, where Laura goes from one area to the back, but now I get to show the love interest kind of hiding the thing that he has, right? We're seeding that more. And then ultimately they have a moment. We could introduce the explosive ideas, and then she comes back, and then the scene can play out as it does anyway. We can actually We could even take out that little exchange. So that's the thing about outlining is you got to be comfortable with adjusting things, and you know, as stuff happens, if you have to change it, if you have to adjust it, if you have to add stuff, if you have to move stuff, it's all okay. Doesn't mean you're a bad writer because, oh, the first thing I wrote wasn't perfect. It's a very difficult thing to deal with sometimes when it's just like, is that a question of my skill? And actually, great writing is rewriting. So you have to be willing to go back and rewrite, to be willing to go back and adjust little things. So my mother's knee broke as well as her ankle, and now she's in a kit. Wow, Hannah, we're so sorry to hear that. Holy, much health and much healing and love to that. I'm sorry that happened during the Christmas time. It sounds terribly painful. Hey, what's up, Afghani? What's up? Come here, too. All right. We need the planet stuff. Do 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 do. This is probably where it's gonna have to go. Notes. Notes. Look at all these notes, yeah. I started working on the sequel to finish my book. I wasn't sure there would be a sequel, but I guess now there is. Hey, that's beautiful. Isn't it great when you're just inspired to just keep writing and playing with these characters and being in the world or something? That's fantastic, man. Let me give you a happily earned. It's hard to start writing one story, so just to be able to get the fuel going and that energy just to keep it going, that's fantastic, man. That was last Wednesday, and her granddaughter told me about it Thursday night. Thursday night, as in like Wednesday it happened, and then like the following day on Thursday night, she was like, "Hey, Mama broke a leg. I'm so sorry that happened to you, Hannah. Not you, but to your mother." What is like your The hills are alive with the sound of music. Oh, that's funny. Commercial just came on. That's really funny. Oh, doing pretty good here. What are we, a half hour in? We'll be able to get it 3 chapters. Continue to build on who the gang members are. All right, so this is pretty much the same note, but let's move this. I forgot it's the 21st, most likely because I don't follow calendar dates. I follow weekly names. I mean, that's fair. I honestly, I thought it was still 2018. And now it's like, I feel like on the 1st of January, it's going to be 2030. And I'm going to be like, where did the time go? All right. Putting this here, which ultimately means I'm going to have another quick scene of the gang. All right. All right. Gang interactions so we can learn about them. Howdly doodly doo, Afghani, 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 Afghani. What's up, Afghani? Yeah. I want to go deeper into the chapters. Hey guys. Yeah, I recently mistaken thought we were entering 2025. I mean, that's a fair mistake because like everything is just like all over the place. It's crazy. All right, so this is a big note. Do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, we're gonna bring this down. Whee! To the computer stuff. The computer, I think, is talking at the end. And then, yeah, see, she checks the computer. So we're gonna also have the computer being like this. But I think I also want to have another computer moment here. So we're gonna add. Oh, you know what? Actually, I want. All right. Time seems to be. It does. It does. Like when I was a kid and I was in school, school never ended. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, how long am I going to be in fifth grade for? And then as the older you get, and the more you have to pay bills, the quicker you have to get to paying the bills. It's like I just paid the bills, and now the first is coming. You know. Anyway, if you notice, I put this note basically at the beginning, at the end, and over here, and that's the thing. It just allows me to create more texture to the scenes. Not that I would have a scene directly and specific for the robot, but I want to add more robot. And by robot, I mean the computer. And, these are just little opportunities. Now, do I have to do it? No, but it's there, and it's a note I could play with, you know? Before you know it, you're drawing your pension. Ugh, I don't think I'm going to get a pension, let's be honest. I was in the entertainment industry. Pay a lot of people off the books, if you know what I mean. They're going to be like, I don't know. Looks like you did nothing. Maybe when the ship finally crash lands and stops music. Oh, that's funny. But I don't think it crash lands in this chapter yet. All right, so we're gonna have to go to the next chapter for that. Let's go. It's funny. I think that's funny. Oh, actually, you know what? I could get away with it being like that. All right, let's go back to 4. Whee! All right, so we just did 4. So now we are on. I think it's cinque, or cinque. Cinque. 5 in Spanish. Oh, cinco. Is it cinco?
Cinco.
Oh, cinco. Or maybe it's Italian. It's cinque. I get them. You know, because yeah,
Cinque.
cinque. Yeah, Italianos. Cinque. All right. Look, we all learned something today. All right, 4 and 5. Now 5 doesn't have a lot of notes. Let's see what happens here. The reason I'm writing 0 drafts is just so like if I have to scroll down, I don't have to try to figure out is it notes or is it the chapter. All right. Potentially show people, authorities, etc. heading to the ship. This is the urgency of getting on. Or maybe just have authorities show up. I'm gonna go with number 1. Why? Because it's more movement, more challenge, it's more tension, it's more, there's a lot more going on. So let's notes, I should say. Oh look, it's an M dash. Thomas, it's the AI Thomas. People who use the M dash automatically is AI. All right. I can already, but waiting to have something to do. Although my daddy list keeps growing. Oh, the to do. I'm daddy because he passed away in 2021. But I do the kissed. The list. Very good. Very good. The daddy do list. The daddy do list. I like it. I like it. The daddy do list. It's like the honey do list, but it's a daddy do list. And by the way, I'm sorry the papa passed away. That feels. That's not a good feeling. Um You are a welcome, my friend. Yeah. No, it's never easy to lose a parent, let alone parents, let alone anybody. It's just terrible, terrible. Keep it up with the M dash. We'll call you Thomas AI. Thomas. 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 Uh, well, if it has an M dash, that's a sure sign they used AI. You know what? Actually, there's a difference between like so like this is like a human kind of non AI piece, right? But like AI would come in, AI, behold the sword of M dash. The sword of bloop bloop would have something to say about that. Um, so this is like something like a human would write, mostly because I'm human and I wrote it. Mostly, I'm human, and oh, looking at Christmas. It's Christmas. Okay. Anyway, I have already blooped. Blooped. Yes. Bloop away. Bloop that like button. So anyway, AI most likely would come and go. She stood, her arms crossed, and she secured her hands in the under her armpits. The heat of the campfire did not reach her. Okay. So AI would do that, and the reason, obviously, I'm simplifying it, but the reason it does that is because AI is programmed to be concise, and without, they don't like the reader, they don't want the reader to think, because if the reader thinks, then there's this chance of confusion, right? So they want clarity. So when it comes to like the real difference is, I'm adding like the campfire. I'm giving the campfire personification. I'm giving it like a almost agency. The heat of the campfire reached her feet, no further, no more. Right. This is human processing. leaving her to stay warm by her resources. That's giving some agency to the campfire, you know. That would be considered like, an AI would be like, bloop, not bleep, nah, poop, poop. Uh, but insecure. Her arms crossed, and I mean, insecure, insecure. I would fix this too, but her arms crossed, and she secured her hands in the warmth of her armpits. I would do that maybe. Right, but my point is, how do people tell if it's AI? It loses that extra sort of layer that because when we look at things, we can take words and meanings, similes, metaphors, things like that, and we can use them, and the way we choose to use them makes an emotional connection. Whereas AI will usually write and or strip that, I don't want to say lyrical or like purpliness out of it, but it strips it down to be more, this is what's happening, and that's why you see the M dashes, because M dashes help with clarity. She stood, her arms crossed and secure, and she secured her hands in right. Like it would do that. It would do that. You know. Anyway, I know that was a weird aside, but my brain just that's what my brain does. It's called ADHD. All right, we're going to chapter 6. We're going to Sis. Oh, we got stuff in 6. I have a really boring question. There are no boring questions, my friend. Let me hear it. Let me have it. Let me hear it. Gimme that question. Zero draft. I'll get right to it, my friend. Just give me 1 second. All right. Also, I'd like to do this because authorities. All right, what we got here? Boop. Numbers. I read they should be written out, but Ward 27, would that be blah, blah, blah? Ward 27? Okay. When people are speaking in dialogue, it should be written out. When it is a title, a title or word like Ward 27, that's technically what is being seen. So in narrative, you could write Ward 27. But when somebody is saying that, the reason you would write out TWENTY hyphen SEVEN is because they are saying it. But in narrative, or rather, you know, stopped before the door, staring. Ward 27. But you would write it like this because it is a word, like it is a. There. No, that would be like the way you would do it, staring at, not starring, staring at Ward 27. I don't know how they do it in England. I think they do the. I think they changed it actually, but you could do this. You could do this where it's like but you also don't have to do that. Anyway, that's not a boring question, by the way. That's an important. That's a formatting question. But yeah, you wouldn't be like I'm here for a 227. You would literally write out 227. But that's. I hope that helped. I think AI thinks we too to work. Yeah. I think AI thinks we are too thick to work things out, figure things out. I agree. AI just it literally dumbs it down. Yeah, it's because they say the words versus reading the words. Because remember, this is technically a visual sensory. Sorry. It's all visual sensory. So this is what the characters are seeing, Ward 27. Whereas this is what the readers are hearing. They're hearing that. But yes, to answer your question, would Ward have a capital? Yes, Ward would be capital because it's still a title of something in the dialogue. Correct, correct. Move it up, move it up. Boop, boop, boop. There we go, there we go. Move it on up. Right. You are welcome. Personally, I like 624 to 26. That's funny. All right, all right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Do, do, do. Planet they land on in Act 3 to survive. Maybe mention the planet here. Probably. Oh, we got more. We got more. All right, let me just do this real quick. Let me just color this in. Do 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 do. All right. Is that the one about thou shalt not M dash? Like that is correct. That is correct. It's from Exodus. Moses wrote it down in the original 10 Commandments before he threw them against the bull statue. I went to the Universal Studios movie theater once, and I was standing behind Calvin from the show. Oh, hey! I'm glad you got that reference of 227. Excellent show. And Calvin. I was a young teenager, and I thought it was the most wonderful to be standing behind a celebrity. That must have been really exciting. That's very, especially someone from 227. That show was fantastic. No notes. No notes. But that's a cool experience you had. Thank you for sharing that, SB. Yeah. All right. All right. What we got here? What we got here? We're at 50. All right. Work on the authorities, who they are, and local authorities. All right. So this I'm definitely going to. I'm going to keep writing notes. Notes. It's just a note. Look at the notes. Okay. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Whee! What, baby? Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh. This might be a little too much, but let's. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually take this note. I'm going to put it. I'm going to place it. I'm going to place. Oh, yeah. I'm going to place it up here. Come here. Come here, baby. The cat is being a cat. All right, so why I'm doing that is because right now, do I really want to put time into creating the two galactic authorities? You have the planet authorities and then you have the galactic authorities. The answer is yeah, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to kind of slip that in once I have the whole thing done because I think that'll make more sense. All right, with that said, I think we're good. Two, come here, baby. What? All right, yeah, I think we're gonna stop there. I think we did. We did good. Galaxy authorities. All right. Remember, all great authors have great editors. All right. With that said, we got the 6. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Mostly because we only have what do we got? What do we got? We have 31 chapters. So we're at 6. That's not too bad. Let's see. 31. We did what we did today. We did 4 chapters. All right. So it should take us another five sessions to get all the notes in. If not, well, actually, you know what? I think because we don't have, not every chapter has notes, right? I mean, this one does. See? 7 doesn't. 7 to 7. 7. This one does. There's one note. This doesn't. This has one note. Some of them don't have a lot of notes. See? So that's good. We're going to get through this pretty quickly. I could technically say these chapters are done. Because there's nothing on them. Look at that. I like seeing that. I like seeing that. All right. Okay. 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 27 is pretty full, though. What's this? All right. There we go. Boom. All right. Any questions? Any thoughts about what we did today? If not, we could go. We could move on to the poll. Poll says, "What should every chapter do?" We have 12 votes. Fantastic. We have 50% with answer questions, create new ones. That's a great answer. No pun intended. We have 33% with change the situation, and then we have 17% with test the character. I will say this as advice to most writers. Like everyone was saying, I wish there was a all of the above because we should be mixing and matching these things. But when push comes to shove, every single chapter doesn't need to change the situation per se, but it does need to change the inner circumstances of the characters. And how do you do that? You test the characters. The answer questions and create new ones is fantastic, but that is basically the vague but informative rule, and it's still a great thing to do for your chapters. But at the end of the day, what creates engagement and what creates movement, and that is when you test the characters and you challenge them, they can make choices, they have emotional experiences, and then, of course, they either grow or don't grow depending on their flatness, which is fine, by the way. Flat characters are fantastic. Sherlock Holmes, Reacher, you know. What up, baby? Come on. Come on. Come on. You coming? You got to come to me. I can't come to you. All right. These are all great answers, and 50% for answer questions and create new ones. Fantastic. All right. These are all great. Let's end the poll. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I love it. I love it. I know, I know. All right. Now, by the way, the reason I didn't have an all of above is because at the end of the day, when you're working with an editor or you're doing the work yourself and going through and reading, you have to make choices. You have to select something. You have to be looking at stuff because being a writer is about asking questions and then making confident choices and having conviction to those choices. So sometimes you'd be looking for something very specific, you know. Ooh, what do we got here? What do we got here? Did you ever try to write a book with someone? Not only have I tried to write a book with someone, but I've also written many of screenplays and television shows with other people. Definitely not the cat. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come here. He's so funny. But yes, I have. Is there a specific question you're asking? Oh, did you fight? I'll get to that. Chose test the characters. You always get. Well, you're working with me, bro. So you know that I'm always like, how do we challenge these characters? How do we do something? Because there's just something so pure about the response to the characters being in situations, and then watching them just really come to life when you put them into situations. Did you fight? Yes. Yes, but not how you're thinking. Not how you're thinking. Um, it's not so much that we fought like I hate you. It's that we push back uh on ideas. And this is the thing. Mel Brooks has a really great story where he's doing Young Frankenstein, and he says in his biography, which by the way I recommend reading. He says him and Gene Wilder never fought ever. They never argued anything. But while they were working on Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks was like, "Hey, I don't want to. I think we're gonna take out this putting on the Ritz scene. You know, when you're blue and you got do 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 boo do do putting on the Ritz, right?" He's like, "We're gonna take that out." And Gene Wilder went ham on him. He's yelling, he's screaming. He's like, "No, we need this. This is just so important." And then after Gene yelled, Mel was like, "Okay, we'll leave it in." And Gene was like, "Really? I thought you're not gonna push back on it." He goes, "Well, you're so passionate about it, and I hear what you're saying, so it's in." All right. But that's the point. Like sometimes, sometimes when you're working with somebody, and I'm talking about writing it together, not like if I'm an editor, my job is to ask questions and to push back, right? To get you to come to a conclusion. But if you're writing something together, you both have a vision, right? And at the end of the day, you want someone to be able to put holes in it. You want somebody to get you to second guess it. And if you second guess it, then maybe it isn't the right piece. So it is important to push back on ideas, but not only to get rid of them, but to evolve them. And let's see if I could come up with an idea. So there's a TV show I was working on with a team, and we had a director come in who was going to direct just one character episode. There was like multiple characters, and each character was going to get a different director for their episodes. And the way we designed the character was one way, and the way this director wanted to come in completely changed the whole premise of the character. Basically, they wanted to lean into drugs and all these, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with the character. You know, like why are we doing that? And they're like, well, because the character is this, and this, and we just right. But what we discovered about that conversation is that maybe the character could have elements of this, but if we lean into that, we don't want the character to be that thing. And what it was ultimately they wanted the character to be a heroin addict. We already had a heroin addict character. To have two was just weird. Two POV characters both being heroin addicts, and like, you know, whatever. Anyway, it helped us reevaluate the character, and we adjusted and changed things because of this conversation. So it is good to have pushback and things like that. But also, when you're like, let's say I came in with an idea, the other person doesn't know anything about it. So if I explain my idea and they don't have questions, I either explained it really well or it makes a lot of sense. If they have a lot of questions or more questions than I was expecting or pushback, my idea isn't really complete. And yes, I should be like, no, this is a good idea, but really I should be listening. I should be listening to what they're not seeing. And then how do I make that clear? So it does help. It was something I had to really learn in the industry when working on screenplays and stuff. Like, I learned more working with others than I did sitting at home going, I am right. This thing I'm writing is perfect, you know? And so I do recommend working with people, but you also want to work with people who have the same vision. I'll say this one quick thing and I'll move on. If I'm going in with a story like we're working on now, and it's about an alien, it's about aliens, and the one rule I have is no humans, it's all aliens, and it takes place in space. And then, I want it to feel like, we get to see other planets, and it's the ship is really the connecting thread of this. And then someone comes in and goes, "That's great and all, but we should have we should have dragons, and it should be like a romance, right? Because she's a romance writer. But what it ends up being is she's actually just writing the romance, and that's what we're reading is the book about romance. And then we find out at the end, like she shuts off the computer, and it's just some human on Earth in Milwaukee writing this book. We don't have the same vision. So it's not a matter of pushing back on ideas. It's just we don't have the same vision. So that might not work as a working relationship. So that's something to keep in mind. Thomas has technically helped all of us write our books. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Look, I'm just trying to be who I am, I imagine it sounds nice in theory to co-write a book, but in practice I would hate it. There's an interview coming out next year that I already did, where the author co-wrote and still co-writes books with James Patterson. If you don't know who James Patterson is, he's basically a prolific writer. He's written over 200 something books. I don't want to give away the interview because there's a lot of good stuff in it. But ultimately, I asked him questions about that, and he learned a lot of good tools as a solo writer, but also how to work with people. And I will say this one thing that really was inspiring. He said to James, "Hey, I outline," and James says, "Well, no, James outlines. James Patterson outlines." And this author was like, "I don't outline. So could we try writing without outlining?" And James was like, "Yeah, sure." And they wrote the book, and then it turned out they needed to do a lot of work to it, so they decided, let's try an outline. I might have that backwards. They might have said, let's outline, and it didn't work out. But I think it's the first way where he said, I don't outline. But he said he realized how important outlines are when working with people. And then he realized how important it is to listen. And then he realized how important it is to try things. Because James Patterson has written over 200 books, and he still was like, okay, let's try it your way. This is James. Imagine James Patterson working with you, and then you're like, I want to do it this way. And James Patterson says, no, we're going to do it this way. Like, of course you're going to try it his way because he's James Patterson. But instead, James Patterson, who has this experience, was like, hey, that's fine. Let's try it that way. Let's see what happens. So that's a really great lesson that sometimes it's about trying things and seeing where things work and where things don't work. And if it does work, great. If it doesn't work, change it up. If it does work, but you need to adjust things. So it was a beautiful malleability kind of lesson. And I think that's important. I think that's very important. So, but another thing you could do is one of you could outline the book, the other could write it. Maybe one of you can write the first draft and the other one goes in and adds immersion. Maybe one, like there's so many different ways to write a book together. So it's something to think about. So leave your ego. Yes, always leave your ego at the door when you're working with people. You don't get another job if you have an ego. I've seen people deal with egos, right? And by the way, these are like head writers dealing with somebody who's not a head writer. They're probably like chair 4. And the head writers, they've been doing it for so long. They're just like, okay, all right. Yep, you're right. Sounds good. Excellent. And then who comes back next year? And who doesn't? Yeah. I want to work in the industry. Well, you can't be a douche. All right. And you need vampires. Yes. You always need vampires. They're a bloody good time. Invite the blighters. Or should it be the bleeders? All right. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. Other than that, What do we got? So next week, by the way, is Christmas. But I'll say this much. I'm not expecting anyone to show up on Wednesday, but if you want to know, Wednesday is a video. I will be it's a pre-record, and the video that's coming out is ultimately uh Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yaros. It is a prose breakdown of the book, so it's the prose on prose, and I'll just be studying that book and breaking down the prose. So that's what Wednesday is, which will be Christmas Eve. And then Friday is a writing prompt exercise. I know some of you like those videos. I will try to continue to do those next year. But this video specifically will focus on using writing prompts to ultimately generate new ideas, to explore specifically different genres and styles. The exercise will involve using specific writing prompts and writing a short story or scene based on that prompt. And then Saturday, which is ultimately the last Saturday of December, we will be doing a writing sprint, and then of course Sunday will be Sunday. Other than that, what do we got here? Next week is Christmas, almost the end of the year. Love writing prompts. Yeah, writing prompts are a lot of fun. And yes, it is Christmas. It is Christmas. I can't believe it. It's already here. So I definitely want to say, Merry Christmas, happy Merry Christmas. But I'll see you the Saturday and Sunday before the New Year, so we'll be able to New Year's it up. But more importantly, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, welcome to Yuletime, and also Kwanzaa. All right, everybody. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. Like the video, because the likes definitely help with the channel. If you didn't know, I got to do the spiel. MakeARightLeftHere.com. I got 3 books. By the way, today will be the day that I finish the format on this book. I am looking at the notes. I have literally a chapter and a half remaining to finish the format on this book. It will not be out in December, but we are looking at January. Because I still got to order a copy of it. But there's a couple more things I want to add to it. Little dings here and there. I just want to add a little something to it. Nothing that's a writing. It's just I got to add the author friends and everybody, and then also I got to add a couple. I might add a glossary at the back. I'm still going back and forth with that, but that'll be easy. That's just a quick thing. But other than that, there's a wonderful forward in it. I know she's not watching right now because she's eating, but I'm not going to say who it is right now. But there's a wonderful forward that was written for the book, and I was very grateful that this person, I won't say their name, wrote the forward for me. So that's fun. If you didn't know, Breaking Down Success, The Foundation for Longevity, is a book that exists. And by the way, I know that everyone's here Saturday and Sunday. You know the spiel. I'm just doing this for the replay for anybody who makes it to the end of the video and new eyes. This book is about being successful. It breaks down how to be successful in the entertainment industry. This goes for anyone who's an actor, comedian, musician, and a writer, whether it's screenplays or long form. And it basically teaches you how to set up the foundation of that success. This is book 1, therefore the 1 of 5. The second book is being formatted as well, but I decided to focus everything on this book, so it'll be a little bit before it comes out. If you didn't know, Death of a King is currently available exclusively on Patreon. Just go to MakeARightLeftHere.com. Check out the Patreon. Everybody knows, but as always, it is more than just the book. You don't just get the chapters. You get the short form, the extended, the 0 drafts, the first and third draft copies of the chapters. And also I talk about, in the post, I talk about the process and I give advice and I teach. So it is educational as well as entertainment. So there it goes. That's everything. What we got? Oh, we got a lot of stuff. Next week, we did this one. Love my prompts. Hey, I can actually write part of my story next. Right? Yeah, you can. Ro can be involved. That's right. Yeah, nice. Yay for the book. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Christmas time. Buy stuff. I appreciate it. This is for the people. I know you guys hear this all the time. I'm just doing this for the after views. Everyone I know is like, you gotta tell people. I think I've said this before. You gotta tell people, and I go, I know. I wrote a whole book on marketing. I just at the same time though, there's just something in me that just sometimes I'm uncomfortable with it. My Amazon voucher is about to come. You got to be nice to the Amazon. Apparently, they own everything, including souls. Yay! And I'm assuming this is for the 27 plot point outline book. Last ad before the 25th buy Thomas stuff. That's funny. It's because she's eating. I don't know. I'm going to take some water. I don't know. I don't know. Mom's the word. Anyway. All right. If you want, we can do questions if anyone has any questions. The cat's here, everyone. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much, because I know your time, everyone's time, you give it to me, and I'm very blessed for that. I assure you, to everybody out there, I do not take this time for granted. I understand it's a privilege to have the love and the compassion and the support that I do from all of you. And it's something I look forward to. I look forward to my weekends. I look forward to spending time with everyone. I look forward to the laughs. I look forward to the singing. I look forward to it all, because ultimately, life is about connecting with people. And even if it's an hour a week or 2 hours a week, as we do it, or sometimes 4 hours, I'm just grateful, because, life can get pretty lonely sometimes for people. And just to have somebody to talk with and chit chat with is just a really nice time. And, I am thankful for it. So I appreciate it all. Insolence. It's a funny segue. Amazon equals Satan. They do collect the soul. Wait, I mean, you did not hear that, Amazon. You did not hear me say it. Stretchy. All right. By the way, I've been re-listening to some of my favorite books are like 90s Dragonlance books and like Ravenloft books, and you've seen me talk about it before. This book right here, this book actually is what got me into really loving fantasy. This book is what really got me like, oh wow, I was young. I was very young. But there's a Dragonlance book, but it's also connected to the Ravenloft series of Lord Soth and everything like that. But anyway, I've been re-listening to like this the like Autumn of Twilight series, and like it's like 4 books long, whatever. And the writing is like very 90s, and it just reminds me like how much writing evolves. I mean, the 90s were 9, 10, 11. It's 30 years ago. So it's so interesting to see the evolution of how words and the way we use them and the phrasings and what is interesting to read and what isn't necessarily interesting to read. That's really why I do the Rewrite the Series, because I want to show you how author voice exists, but also how, like, just because our favorite books, I just did The Christmas Carol. That book is a massive success. But if somebody wrote that book today, there's a chance it wouldn't even get looked at. Just because the style of writing changes, and sometimes we have to be okay with that. And I think that's the brilliance of art, is that art is always evolving. We are always evolving. The creative process is always evolving. So, but listening to it does remind me that, it's okay to write differently. It's okay to have your own voice. It's okay to approach, because I love those books. I will happily make fun of those books, because like when you love something, you rib at it. Like there's lots of bands I love, but I make fun of some of the lyrics. I make fun of some of the ways they sing. I make fun of some of, right? But that's how me and my friends, we show love for these things. But we love the band or we love the book. But at the same time, you see these things and you're like, but it's these are my babies. These are the things I love. So I'm gonna celebrate and support them. And but it is nostalgic, but it's also enlightening because it's been a while since I read them. That's just something to think about. Is that things change. Oh man, thank you. I always look forward to your Sunday writing. After everything that's happened to me, I finally got back into writing again. So again, I say thank you. I am honored and grateful that I am able to be here for you and be some like a beacon for you to come and hang out with because honestly, right back at you, you being here is important to me too. You're giving me the energy. It's not a one-way street. It makes this kind of relationship we have right here, even though it's through the internet, which is both an amazing creation and also sometimes some people shouldn't be on the internet. We won't name Carla's son, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see your name and I smile. I see your username. I see that you're here, and I get excited because we have a relationship. So it's not a one way street. I promise you. A book I read as a teen that got me into sci-fi was The Space Swimmers. First of all, fantastic name. Isn't that I think I know that book. Yeah, with the orchids and stuff like that. Landborn and Seaborn, Gordon Dickinson. That's an old book. That's an old book, yeah. I've seen that cover. When those books were written, it wasn't correct. Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't cliche because a lot of tropes are in that book. And there's sometimes I was all right. So I was listening to the third book in the series, and there's like a character, and to make the character seem like a bad guy, because they're a villain, because they are a part of the dragon armies. There's another character who is a quote unquote good guy. And the Dragon Army bad guy goes, any guy that's willing to put it to a woman and make sure she's pleasured right is a real man to me. And I'm just like, what just happened? I don't understand because they're trying to show the guy is misogynist and he's a douchebag. And it's like there's there's so much more you could do to make a guy seem like not bad, to make him seem bad. Like sometimes you don't have to be like, well, they're a bad person because they have a gun. Well, there should be nuance. Maybe it's because I'm crazy. I think there should always be nuance. But I was like, I had to rewind it. I was like, did he really just say that to Tasselhoff half elf? Jesus Christ. Tan is half elf. I mean, it was so funny. I think I was born a cliche. M. I mean, that might be true. Happy holidays. Go have fun. Grocery store shopping. Remember to get those bananas. I'll see you next week. But have a happy Merry Christmas. And then of course I will respond to your email once I am done and after I relax a little bit. I'll get back to you. Much love, SB. Sorry you had such a hard time, Mallow. Glad to see you back. I'm glad Mallow's back too. I'm glad Mallow's doing it. Buy Carlos. You gotta buy her book. You gotta buy Carlos. Thank you, Cindy. It's good to find your tribe. It really is. A good tribe is a happy soul. That's all I'm saying. You got to find the people who want to celebrate and elevate you and the people that really care about what's going on. Happy holidays, SB. Yeah. All right. Wrinkle in Time did it for me. Oh, that's a fantastic book. That and a book called The Lotus. Oh, Lotus Flower. Yeah, I know that book. Lotus Flower. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. I love hearing the inspiration books. Sean, be good. Wife wants to go to the crystal store. Hey, sometimes you gotta go where the people know your name. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to get me down. Boo-doo-doo. That's Cheers. Anyway, I think it's time to go anyway. I'm gonna go relax. I'm gonna have fun as be. Wrinkle in Time, War of the Worlds, fantastic. Invisible Man, fantastic. Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, all these are great. My mom made me read the classics as a child. I think classics are so important to read, not to be like, how do I write, but to be like, how do you create a unique voice? Because you remember, before Frankenstein, there was no such thing as Frankenstein. There was no such thing as that style, like gothic horror. And they just changed it all. So good, so good. Have a great week, everyone. See you after the rush week. Yeah, to everybody, Merry Christmas scared me so much I shit my neighbor's lawn. That's very funny. But with that, I think I'm gonna go take a little relax. I'm gonna drink some water, maybe have some lunch, and then I got some emails I gotta get back to. But everyone, I had a lot of fun today. I'm glad we're up to 50 episodes. I will see you next weekend. But before then, have a wonderful holiday, a Merry Christmas, a Kwanzaa, a Yule time, I believe it's today or yesterday, and of course, the Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. With that, everybody, be good. I love you all. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time.